Hi, Jamie Edwards, and this is a very short video on something that when I'm working with somebody in sports or business or just in general life, one of the tools that I often talk about, and it's been around from year dot, is the very act of writing in your playbook, in your journal, your notebook. It's been around for thousands of years. Um, I'm always like drilling home to the sports guys, writing down after games, after training, getting stuff out of your head. If you're a business guy, I'll never forget being in a corporate, and the guy said to me, he said, I only wish I'd have written down. He said, you introduced it to me, I did it, and then I stopped. And then he said, if I'd have done it in the year that I stopped, which was a really good year, it was a really good year in terms of his personal performance. It wasn't a good year for business. But he said, if I'd have written down how I handled the pressure and my team and how I led them, he said that would have been more rewarding than just writing about the good stuff, the good year. And so what's really interesting why I've brought this up now is because we're talking about legacy and how you leave your legacy, not just in the things that you do, but one of a very good friend of mine last night, I mean, this is like hot off the press in terms of last night, and we had this conversation, and she said, I only wish my granddad would have written things down and he had a journal, because by all accounts he was a very interesting guy. She found that out at his funeral. And the reason why I bring that up is because recently my father passed away, my biological father passed away, and I was only thinking, wow, this is even more important to write things down, because I would have loved to have found out about his life and what he was doing. I didn't get to know him, unfortunately. So I do this, and I've done it for a long time, going back to certainly early 1990s. And I always say the personal reason for me to do it is because one day I'm going to have children. I do have children now, and they're going to be able to read about, the mood I was in, the thoughts I had, the events of my life, the times I was thinking about them, the times I was pulling my hair out, because of my son, and my daughter. So when you talk about legacy, it's, what's your reason why for capturing this? So I'm going to give you some tools, a few tools and tips on really to get into the habit of, creating your own playbook and designing that. So first of all, we live in a digital world. So this is actually, this is the analog version of your digital world. So I'm not saying by any stretch you do not use your phone to capture notes, but there's a reason why handwriting, it engages that part of you that just knows how to play unconsciously. It engages your emotions as well because you're moving. Second point, use this as your tool for reflection, to rewind and to review what you're doing. Third point, journaling and getting things out of your head then becomes a practice. If you're in sports, it's about practice. If you're in business, it's about those habits. It's a daily discipline, focuses your attention. That practice can be at a certain time of the day. For some people, it's a morning ritual. For some, it's an evening ritual. More often than not, the last thing at the end of the day has a huge impact on how you wake up in the morning. But what I want to say is, as I do to lots of the sportsmen that I work with, is because they say, I feel tired. Don't slave over it. Don't make this a chore. Make it a habit. Make it something that you look forward to doing. So that's the next point. questions. Start to think of, what are the questions that you have, about your game, about your business. What can I learn? How can I take this to the next level? What are the themes that are going on at the moment? Are you feeling stressed? What are the things that you're grateful for? What's the theme at the minute for, it might be your children, it might be the excitement of moving to a new city. So look for the themes, look for the questions that are going on in your life right now. Legacy, coming back to, this isn't just for, let's say, if you have children or for your family, this can be for you, but it also can be for, in the context where my friend said she wished her grandfather had written. So don't think of it's just a practice for you, it's a practice also for other people as well. Paper versus digital. Some people say, can't I just type it into my computer? No, computer's quicker, digital's quicker, paper's slower, but you're going to get the benefits for both. Sometimes you'll capture, I know I just made that point earlier, but paper versus digital, lean towards paper, digital only for convenience. Couple of others points for this. Honest conversations. Use it to have the very honest conversation with yourself first of all. So it might be that you're prepared to bring up some challenges and have the conversation about those on a piece of paper, and you'll be able to see it from a different perspective. Finally, these are only just some tips. They are not rules. They are not hardened. Find your own way. If you're going to start leaving your legacy on paper, get yourself a nice notebook. Don't do it on an A4 pad. So get yourself a really nice notebook, a Moleskine, some of the nice stationery shops. We even have some Train Brain, really nice journals as well for this purpose. Get yourself a nice pen, whether it's a Mont Blanc pen or even, some of my favorites. These are, is it Paper? I can't even remember what. Pilot, one of my favorite brands. But Pilot, V-Sign, writes lovely. Make this process something that you're going to look forward to. So, hope you found that useful. If you did, share it with a friend. But do this for yourself. It's really made me focus on this because of the recent event that I've had. So leave your mark and leave something that those people close to you in your inner circle will be able to reflect and enjoy.